If there's any thoughts on that, but that was a thought that just came to my head at the end there. Maybe discuss that over email.
Based on what Tammy just said, that if we have the access to the notes that have been taken, we could review
Yeah.
and assess
And make sure we
and
didn't miss
respond.
anything?
Yes.
That's what you're asking.
Okay.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah, we can get those to you probably by next week. It
Perfect.
usually takes us a few days to get everything written out.
Great, thank you for being here. We are gonna move on to our other business. We're right on schedule, so that's great. We have a proposed amendment, a recommendation that we'd like to make, and then some announcements. I'll let Patrick start us off with this piece, but we have a proposed bylaw amendment relating to alternates and the mental health committee. We've heard pieces of it from our steering committee and such, and so I'll let you take over, and then we'll go into a piece of discussion, public comment, and then finally a vote.
The change that we wanted to see was well, it's in a couple parts. The PSEP would ask the mayor's office to ensure that a pool of 9 alternates to fill PSEP vacancies is always there. PSEP asked the mayor's office to fill vacant seats with alternates within 30 days, which they've been very good at so far, but we're reaching the end of that, the original group of people, so we're gonna, and then in filling vacancies, we would ask the mayor to maintain PSEP's initial diversity of lived experiences and skill sets, with particular respect in ensuring PSEP includes at least 3 members who publicly identify as having lived experience of mental illness, or at least 1 person with a clinical experience, such as a physician, psychologist, or licensed, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then from there, yeah.
Okay, thank you. I'm gonna open it up to PSEP comments, questions, concerns, any of that.
So my concern with this is that we may find ourselves recommending to the mayor's office that it ask people to disclose certain things about themselves that for a variety of reasons they may not want to disclose. And so my recommendation on this, recognizing that we want the diversity of experience, and I share that aim with Patrick, would be to keep the recommendation as is, except to strike the parts that require at least 3 members or at least 1 person, and instead simply note that we want the mayor to continue to consider a variety of things, including a variety of skill sets, including and experiences, including people who may identify as having lived experience. That's my recommendation.
You need to repeat it. I agree that the concern was continuing to have lived experiences and skills amongst us, sort of the construction that we have now, but not to require public identification if that is not the comfort or the necessity that a person would have to give. I don't know how else to get around that, asking that if you don't publicly identify, then you could not be considered as a viable alternate.
I don't think that there was any sort of, I don't remember it, stating that there wouldn't be other people just who would like that as well. And I definitely, if Andrew would repeat what he said, I think that he may have worded it better than I did.
Say it again, that last piece.
The last piece meaning what my recommendation would be on this?
Yeah.
So my recommendation would be to strike the at least 3 and the at least 1. So instead it would read something like, in filling vacancies, PSEP asks the mayor's office to maintain PSEP's initial diversity of lived experiences and skill sets with particular respect to ensuring PSEP includes members who identify as having lived experience of mental illness and members with clinical experience. In other words, we would be making a value statement that type of lived experience was important to have on the committee. That's something I agree with. I think pretty much I can't speak with everybody, but I think there's consensus on that, without having a number attached to it, which would then require us to ask people to disclose who may not want to. That's my recommendation.
I don't have like an additional recommendation. I think I just want us to consider that none of us knew what the makeup of the individuals were on this committee when we were seated. And so I'm not high-fiving the mayor's office or anything like that. I'm just saying, I think that that consideration is on their table. I think that's how we ended up with the number that we ended up with from the beginning. And I appreciate, Patrick, that you just want to maintain that balance on this committee. But I just wanted to be noted that none of us chose the people that were on the committee from the jump, and those people are on this committee, I think, because there's concentration on that issue.
Did we ever meet this quota as was here?
Yes. There were two members that had left that both, one filled one, and then the other one filled the other description, so.
Clarification too, based on your suggestion, would we have to go back and rewrite this, or?
Right. No, I don't think so. Again, I can read again what my suggestion is, and then I think we can vote on, of course, on Patrick's original. We can vote on my suggestion. I think that's up to Patrick as the person who's bringing this. But I don't think we have to
Go back.
I think we can finish this.
Recognizing that I'm probably not going to get the votes for the original, I would definitely go for yours.
Okay, so, can you,
Except the friendly amendment.
Yeah.
let's scratch that out, and then have you rewrite it, or reread it, and then we will, oh, actually, no, we gotta take it out to public comment, and then
Yeah.
we will vote. But we're just gonna take 1 second to allow Andrew to kind of retool this.
Yeah, it's fairly simple. So I will read the entire amendment at the end, but I will first tell you what's been scratched, so you know. So it's the words "at least 3" before members. It's the word "publicly identify," so instead it's going to be "identify." And then it's the word "at least one person," and instead of the person, we have members again. So let me read it back and see what people think. In filling vacancies, PSEP asked the mayor's office to maintain PSEP's initial diversity of lived experiences and skill sets, with particular respect to ensuring PSEP includes members who identify as having lived experience of mental illness, and members with clinical experience, such as a physician, psychologist, licensed clinical social worker, licensed professional counselor, certified alcohol and drug counselor 2 or 3, nurse practitioner or registered nurse, physician's assistant, or similar. And there's no change to the second clause that you're offering.
Great, we're gonna open up the public comment. Yep, Philip, or Dan and Philip. Either or.
Hi, this is Philip. I just have a concern about the numbers 1 or 3, because that's where implicit bias kicks in. So I'm wondering why there needs to be a specific number to balance that. How do you calculate what is a healthy balance? 1 is good, or 3 is maybe not good for the balance. How do you draw the line? How do you figure that out? So I think that could become an issue. That's my only thing that I wanted to share.
Thank you, and it was addressed because we did scratch that out, so if this amendment is passed, those numbers would not be in there.
Great.
Thank you for the question. Dan?
Dan Handelman again with Portland Cop Watch. I actually read this a little bit differently, I think, perhaps than what's being discussed. But it says PCCEP asks the mayor's office to keep this in mind. But you can't require the mayor's office to do it. You're not changing the ordinance, you're not changing the city policy, you're just saying this is what you're recommending. So I thought that was the compromise right there, using the word ask, so that it doesn't matter. I mean, the goal is to have 3 people total and 1 person with clinical experience, but that is your value statement. And then similarly, the second part that you didn't really talk about, where when you are voting to recommend an alternate, you will consider the need to maintain that balance, but it's not requiring you to do it. So I think that it already sort of addresses the concerns that have been raised, and I don't know if you need to amend it based on that. I just also want to add that on the agenda, which I didn't find until today, I gather it was posted sometime earlier, but we didn't get a new email about it. I don't know if anybody else did. Because we got an initial email saying the agenda will be posted. I didn't get anything about the current agenda. When I clicked on the link to this, it went to a page with a bunch of documents on it, and this wasn't one of the documents. So I hadn't seen the proposed bylaw until I got to the meeting tonight.
We've taken note of that. Thank you for that.
Okay.
Other comments on the amendment? Okay. Yes, sir. Oh, we got 2 now.
So, I wanted to make a comment about being cut off and you interrupting me. I don't know exactly how to pronounce your name. Lakay.
Lakiana.
Lakiana.
Yeah.
You seem to have cut me off a few times. Like at the last meeting, we had 3 minutes to speak. 2 minutes into it, you're telling me we have 1 minute left. Then I go on another 30 seconds, 30 seconds left. And I noticed that you let all these other people go overtime, and sometimes even let them do 2 rounds of speaking. But someone like me, who's actually been targeted by the other group, Coab Cocal, and was used to derail the DOJ settlement, scapegoated, gaslighted, and all the other stuff, called a white supremacist by the former Coab guy, Bud
I'm sorry, what does
Fulis.
this have to do with the amendment that we're
What this has
discussing?
to do is with this general body.
With the
and
discussion, the amendment
so
right now,
this
so I'm
is,
just curious why we're talking about something else.
So I'm talking about something that's real. I don't care about all your amendments. I care about being disrupted, derailed, having my train of thought disrupted. I do have mental illness. I get my housing through Cascadia. I don't, it's sometimes I got a lot going on in my mind and I'm trying to say a bunch of stuff and I'm trying to do it in a timely fashion. And when you have someone telling you 30 seconds, 2 minutes, blah, 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 and then they're treating me with bias, I think that's an issue. So if you can't do your job in an equitable, non-biased manner, I know you're part of a group, Word is Bond, and you're all about fostering good relationships between the police and whatever. Well, you know what? I've dealt with a lifetime of stuff, like my parents' store being burnt down by the chief of police's son and the mayor's son in the early 70s. My parents were hippies and owned head shops, so so I'm just saying, like, don't derail me. It's okay to tell me, like, you're going over and blah, 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 but can you, like, at least not treat me in a biased manner?
Absolutely.
Thanks.
And just to respond to that, I think I 100% hear what you're saying, and I think what would help in that is if you would direct and make your statements a little more to the point. What there's been some feedback even tonight of just like some questions as to what is the purpose of your statement, and I think if you can get to that, that would be helpful. We just-
Well, I don't think this,
Well,
I
can I
think
just
this
finish
should
my
be
statement?
more of a community forum, and you should be able to ask some questions. And you
Absolutely.
shouldn't always have to like stick to the agenda, or it just makes it like a controlled opposition PR gimmick game where you can't, it just makes it as pathetic as the community involvement at City Hall with Ted Wheeler, and he's the one who picked half the people on this board and approved everyone, so, and he's obviously not here, so he just cares about things from a PR gimmick and political thing. That's why he's playing both sides of the fence. That's why he's like, you know, 1 minute letting the police treat protesters with bias